I've really been pleased about. And there's been some things offensively that I've been really pleased about. So, what you're looking for is a little bit of that, ebb and flow to practice. And you don't ever want to see one side of the ball dominate the whole practice. I don't think we've seen that yet. And so I think the one thing, defensively that, has been encouraging is we've gotten our hands on the football a significant amount of times. We've made some plays, taking the ball away, which has been impressive. And then look, offensively, I think there's been, throughout the course of the last 3 days, I think there's been some explosive plays down the field, which has been encouraging to see. So I think we're making progress, and yet we still have a long way to go.
Big, what have you seen in terms of tempo, pace, and energy so far?
Yeah, look, I think it's been good. Look, we're day 3 of camp. We're still, we just put on some shells today, so we still haven't even got into, full contact practice and things of that nature. So what I've been pleased with is the focus, the energy, the attention to detail. And look, like I told the guys, I mean, when we start practice at 9 a.m. and we're getting done around, 7 p.m. at night. And so I'm asking for, give me 100% focus and concentration from 9 to 7, and then I think they need to have some time to relax a little bit and hang out as a team. So that's kind of been the process here.
Dennis, can you talk about the balance with your backup quarterbacks, the balance between being aggressive versus making a smart throw?
Well, look, I think every day you're out here is a learning experience, and in particular when you're talking about young players. And so, I think, the thing that we have to do is, we have to get those guys to understand when we're talking about the routes, understand what the progression is, and make sure they're going through and reading out the progression and not playing rat ball. And so if you read it out and go through your progression and the defense makes a nice play, you get a chance to go look at it and you get a chance to make the corrections. It's the ones where you're like, I think Twitter would say WTF or something like that, right? Okay, where and it's like, what are you doing here? So I think that's the balance. You know what I mean? Stay within the scheme, do your job, read out the progressions, and if you're doing that and the defense makes a play, then we try to help you make a better decision next time.
Hey, what do you think about Jake Haynes play today?
Look, I'd have to go back, and there's so much you're looking at right now. It'd be hard for me to really comment in particular. I know he made one really good throw on a deep end cut in that last team period, which is impressive to see. So, I think before I made any type of evaluation on that, I'd probably have to go back and look at the tape.
It looked like Marshawn left early and didn't come back.
Yeah, he left with a little bit of a hip flexor.
We also saw Kendrick Miller just before practice this morning. Is he doing any better?
He's going through the hamstring rehab process, so that's where he's at.
How much does the blocking responsibility change for Chris and receiving receivers just in this scheme? Is it a lot more?
Well, I think it's probably emphasized more in this scheme and what they have to do. And look, obviously the number one job of a wide receiver is to catch the football. That's the number one thing that he gets paid to do. Okay, but to have the opportunity to catch the football, you have to be willing to do the other dirty jobs, which allows the offense to be successful. No different than defensively, and these rushers get paid to rush the quarterback, all right? But you have to earn the right to rush the quarterback. And so I look at it kind of the same way.
Yeah, so Carl Granderson had a pretty good, solid team drills, couple of sacks. Or what have you thought about this game so far?
Well, look, here's what I would say about Carl. Carl comes to work every day and gives us everything he has. And so when you watch his development from when he first got here, 230 pounds to now he's 280-something pounds, from a guy that didn't really know whether the ball was pumped or stuffed to now a guy that's understanding different blocking schemes and recognizing pre-snap formations and what type of plays that he can anticipate, and then reacting to the ones that aren't what we might anticipate. But that comes through a lot of effort and hard work on his part, both physically and mentally. And I think that's where you see guys improve, and that's what Carl's done.
Have you seen that effort and hard work still there even after having the season?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's just who he is. It's just what he is, And look, when you train yourself that way, it just becomes a part of your DNA, a part of who you are, part of what you're all about. And really, money is not a motivating factor. Motivating factor is intrinsic. What do you want to, what are you pushing yourself to be? Not some sort of extrinsic factor like money or anything like that.
I thought it was interesting. I'm sure it was just an oversight and not intentional, but you were listing all the defensive ends that there's question marks about. And you listed Chase, Cam, and Peyton, and Isaiah, and didn't list Carl. He's kind of a known.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I think Carl's earned the right to, be somebody that we're really going to count on. And I anticipate that we're really going to count on him. I list all those other guys because you got a couple of young guys that, haven't produced at a level that we need them to. You have a guy like Cam that's produced at a really, really high level for a long time. And can he still do those things? Can Chase, come off the injury and produce at a level that is commensurate with where he was drafted? I think all those guys have variables that you're looking at, whereas Carl's a guy that just continued to improve and improve and improve. He's not coming off any sort of injuries or, anything like that. So, and yet I think Carl is trying to prove that he's, in an elite classification.
Yeah.
And I think that's where his motivation is.
Dennis, do you think that Peyton Turner's the guy that you trust, or he starts to show it?
He's got to show it. Yeah. I think him and Foskey both are in that boat of, prove it. I think both of them have the ability. Both of them are fully capable, but I think both of them are in the prove it mode.
Have you looked at any evaluations on Chase Young through what he's done in 3 days?
It's really hard to say. I'll say this. I'll say that man, the first time I saw him, he was way bigger than I thought he was going to be.
That's exactly what I said.
He's huge. I mean, he fits the mold of really what we're looking for, and I think from an athletic standpoint, from a speed standpoint, he's going to bring some stuff to the table for us. So, just from a physical skill set standpoint, I've been highly impressed. I've been highly impressed with his intrinsic motivation to prove himself. That's been cool to see, and so look, we're anxious to get him involved a little bit more. He went through all the individual drills with the D-line today. We'll slowly incorporate him into some more activity as we keep going, and yet we're going to be smart with him and try not to rush him too much.
For the pass rush, I think if you look statistically last year, your defense finished maybe more in the middle of the pack rather than the top 10 statistically anyway. How much of last year's pass rush problems, inconsistencies, kind of contributed to that?
To
just the overall statistical. I think you guys are 14th in yards.
Yeah, well, look. I think obviously the pass rush is an area that we've got to improve on. And I think we've look. Our standard is what our standard is, and we've set a high standard around here defensively in terms of what we expect. And there's nobody on our defense that's going to shy away from that. And so from that standpoint, we've got to be a lot better. And I think the pass rush is part of it. Our ability to finish on the quarterback has got to be part of it.
Well, so we talked about also last year about explosive plays and stuff. I know there's more than one thing into it, but with a better pass, this may sound really obvious, but would a better pass rush take care of those explosive plays, or?
I bet you can answer that question.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Right. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look, we got to rush the passer better. And look, there's no more important coordination on defensive football than in the passing game and the coordination between the pass rush and the pass coverage. You can cover as well as you can possibly cover. If you can't get to the quarterback, eventually they get open, right? And if you can get to the quarterback as fast as you want to, but if you're not covering anybody, all right, or you're not contesting throws, then you're not going to be able to cover, on the back end. So you're not going to be able to sack the quarterback. So those two things have to work together, and so we got to be more coordinated in that area.
Yeah, so
Let's take two more.
Watching Demario Davis today, really demonstrative in how he's kind of getting on his teammates and coming in second, third team. When it comes to Tyron, have you noticed him doing more of the same? Like,
so I would say, from a leadership standpoint, Double D is going to be more the vocal out front leader, and it's going to be more demonstrative. And I think Tyron's more going to pull him aside, and have kind of the, for lack of a better term, backroom conversations with guys. But I think both of them have their own way of, leadership and bringing some guys along. You probably see it a little bit more out of, a guy like Demario, maybe a guy like Cam. But I think all three of those guys, from a defensive standpoint, have some great leadership ability.
Seeing that same group of players that just have gotten better mentally along with business, but even though the physical traits may have kind of gone away a little bit.
Yeah. I think at some point, that's what you're really. I mean, more often than not, guys that have really long, extended careers in our league, they're not doing it because they're the best athletes. They're doing it because, they understand the mental part of the game, and they understand the ability to take care of their bodies. One more.
Well, yeah, might as well complete the defensive end rundown. We talked about Isaiah Husky making some flash plays in the spring. Is he continuing to develop out into camp the way you?
Yeah, look, I think I've seen some good things out of him in the first 3 days of camp, and so that's been. There's a lot of encouraging signs. The arrow in my mind is pointed up, but we're still at the bottom of the mountain. You know what I mean? We still got another 3,500 feet of climbing, and so we just got to keep working. All right, thanks, guys.
Accurate number.
All right, shout out to the fam. I appreciate y'all being in this episode of the Coma. Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in the stream.
So, the new extension?
Absolutely. It's absolutely a blessing, to be a part of this organization and to continue to be able to fight for this team and the city. It's everything I could imagine, and to be a part of all of it and continue to grow as a player. With everybody out here is a blessing.
How did that kind of come about? Did they approach you? Did your agent approach them? Like, what was kind of the timetable like of getting things done?
It was kind of my agent felt like it was the right time to at least try to get something long term. We feel like this is the right place to be, and this is the best place for me to continue to grow as a receiver and as a player. So that's kind of how it went.
What kind of security, what kind of faith, I guess, is that showing? What kind of security does that give to a player who came in undrafted and everything's kind of unsettled when you get here?
Yeah, no, I think it shows that they believe in the hard work that I put in to get in this position, and I got to continue to grow. I can't let this just be the settle point. I got to continue to grow as a player and as a teammate, and it means everything to me just for them to invest in me as an athlete. And, I got to continue to grow and, make it mean something.
Part of that growth really is being able to expand your route tree and put it on display. How much are you looking forward to being able to do that this season?
I'm absolutely looking forward to all of us receivers are excited for the expansion within the offense. And, I feel like all of us, kind of like Chris said in OTAs, kind of play our strengths in different ways. So we're all excited, to be able to, show that what we can do. And expand our route tree.
And how do you think this new offense really is going to take advantage of your skill sets and so far through the development and what you've experienced so far through offseason and now?
Right. So far, what I've seen, I feel like the offense kind of allows us to get the ball in our hands and, able to get some yak. Allows us to, play to our abilities. Allows us to play pretty free, a lot more confident. I feel like as a whole offense, we feel like just more confident within the offense and ourselves.
A lot of it, Chris would have talked about the fact that he's extending it for 2 years, like he's one of your 1B. What do you think the potential could be for you two as a 1-2 punch heading into this season?
Right. I feel like for us, the sky's the limit. We can go as far as we want to. We're very talented as a whole receiver room. We hold each other to a high standard, and we kind of go as each other goes. And we continue to push ourselves each and every day, and I feel like the sky's the limit.
Yeah,
I know you work a lot with Derek Carr, but what have you thought about Jake Hanger to progress from year 1 to year 2?
Yeah, no, he looks a lot more confident. He's slinging it. He looks really good out there. I feel like he's grown a lot. His mindset is in the right place, and as long as he continues to show what he shows, has shown, he has a bright future ahead.
We haven't had to see it yet because you guys haven't put the pads on yet. But what do you think about the increased blocking responsibilities because you're not the biggest dude?
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. To be on the field. I got to do it. If I want to, be able to make the plays that I want to, I also got to block, and that's a big part of our offense, and that's going to be a big part of our play action game as well. So to be able to block, it's going to be big, and I'm gonna have to do it.
Okay, what about the kickoff rule? What do you kind of think about that? That changes so what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in favor of it. I love it. I feel like it's an opportunity for us to score a lot more points, so to get better field position. So I'm really excited to how that's going to turn out.
As someone who excels in the return part of the game, and it's obviously something that you spend a lot of time on. Is that nice to see? Just the league kind of bringing that back, because it just feels like for a while, kick returner became something that didn't necessarily have as much investment.
Right. Yeah. No. I feel like the league wants to see those big plays again, and this is the perfect format for it. We're always going to have the ball in our hands and to be able to make a play, and like I said, score points for our team. I feel like it's set up for success.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how loud has Darren Rizzi been about this whole process? It seems like it's something it's going to be.
Yeah, that is the emphasis. He's super loud about everything, but he knows that this is going to be a big focal point, and like I said, it's going to be very important for field position for our team. So it's got to be a big emphasis, and it's going to be a big play within the game of football, and so he's going to be real stickler about it.
How important is it for you with who's back there with you because they could just not kick to you for a while?
Right. Yeah. No. I feel like Coach Riz has a good idea of what he wants to do with scheme wise, whether if he wants a bigger body like Taysom or a skilled player like myself. It's going to be interesting. We could do a lot of different things. Could show a lot of different things. So I'm excited to see what he draws up.
From a terminology standpoint, how does this offense differ from when you played previous years? From a terminology standpoint,
I would say it's a little more simpler. It's more, I feel like, formation based rather than that's tough. I'll come back to that one.
Rashid, the new offense, bigger role.
Yes.
How important is your mental process been this offseason? And just kind of getting yourself ready to step into maybe something bigger for yourself.
Right. Yeah. No. I know that my role was going to be bigger going into this offseason. I tried to make that a focus into being in the best shape that I possibly could, knowing that there might not be many times where I come out the game. There's Coach Koob is going to be counting on me to make a lot of plays for this team, and I'm super excited for that role, and I feel like I'm ready for it.
You have to, with the expanded roles, that include making sure you're even more on top of the offense, and just the kind of process you go through, just getting ready.
Yeah. I feel like Coach Koob wants me to move around and know all the positions on the field, so he can be able to put me in positions to have success. And he's excited for me, and I'm just excited to be able to play with a coach like that who believes that I can make the plays for him.
You like being close to home for training camp?
Absolutely, it doesn't get much better than this. It's beautiful weather out here. It's an amazing area, so it feels good to be back.
How different is it not having fans out here?
It is a little different. The fans always bring a little extra, juice to practice. We do miss them. We would love for them to be able to be out here with us. But for now, we just got to lock in and be able to practice without it, and we'll be all right.
During individual drills, catching the rugby ball. Have you ever done anything like that before? And
I haven't.
What do you make of that drill? What does that help you?
Yeah, no, that's pretty new to me. I feel like it just kind of helps with getting your hands, kind of spreading your fingers out a little bit. That's what at least Coach Deb tells us we just do what he tells us to do. But yeah, no, I feel like it helps a lot. It's obviously a bigger size ball. So once you catch a regular football, it kind of feels a little different and a little bit easier. So I think it's helpful.
Can you think of other instances where you borrow from other sports? I know you did track, and I don't know, you still sprint on a track or whatever, or other sports to prepare for playing football, or use other balls to prepare for playing football? Like similar to the rugby drill, is there anything that you've done on your own with coaches or borrow from other sports?
Like you referred to with track and field. During the off season, I try to, still implement that into a lot of my training. Speed is a big part of my game. So I got to keep it, and that always gives me an advantage. Can't really coach speed. So yeah, that's always been a big part. But I spent a lot of time with Coach Deb this off season, so doing his drills and a lot of his work to be able to prepare me for what we're going to do out here has helped a ton.
What has Coach Deb brought to the receiver group, just in terms of like getting y'all closer? It seems like just the group itself has spent a lot of time with each other this offseason. Yeah,
absolutely. Coach Dub is absolutely amazing. I feel like he's the perfect coach for this group. He came in and the first day he made it feel like family. And I'm very excited to have a coach like him. I feel like he's one of the best receiver coaches in the league, and he makes the game so much more simple. He makes you think less, and he makes you feel more confident just in yourself. And just the energy he brings every day, from the moment we step into the meeting rooms to out here on the practice field, he's ready to go. And if we're not matching his energy, then it's going to be a long day for us.
He tells us that he expects you to grow in every area this year. How has he really pushed you in those aspects?
He basically just continues to stay on me. He knows where I want to be as a player. He knows where all of us want to be as players. But we spend a lot of time, having one-on-one conversations. And, he spent a lot of time around some of the best guys in the league. And he tells me how they kind of approach, the games and practices. And, just that kind of insight on how, the best do it. He tells me, and the conversations that we have, I feel like they are very beneficial and going to help me continue to grow.
He also highlighted the relationship. There's a lot very happy. You could delve into it. How close are you two really all the deal and brother would be close?
Yeah, no, we're very close. We've known each other for a long time from the same city, and we take pride in, continuing to play for our city and, make good plays on the field. But yeah, we're super close. That's my guy. I love seeing him out here making plays, and we both, continue to push each other each and every day. And as long as we continue to do that, we're going to be special.
You said a long time. When did that friendship begin?
Well, I feel like we've kind of known each other for a long time. I wouldn't say that he's a little bit younger than me, obviously, but we've known of each other for a long time. I'll say that.
So were you down, or was that the script? Were you going to go to the
I was down, man. That defense always gets excited when they see the ball on the ground, but I was down.
Anything else about Rashid? What do you think about that throw? That
was a great ball. You put it exactly where it needed to be. It was a tight window, very tight window. And I was able to go down and make the play. That's just an example of how Jake has improved, making it easy for us to make plays for him.
Thank you, Rashid.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Rashid Shaheed, man. Shout out to the Who Dat Nation, man. We in this thing, chopping it up early, man, on this Friday. Hope you guys are having a pretty good Friday to kick off your weekend. I know I am, man. I'm chilling, man. Well, big ups to you. Big ups to you guys.
Who's up first?
When you watch as a young quarterback, can you talk about the balance between making maybe a throw that you should make versus making the right read?
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, especially in competition mode, you want to try to show what you can do. But I think that it comes with, you know, being mature, being grounded, not trying to do things out of your framework, you know, especially with, you know, at times limited reps, right? You got to try to make plays. But I think also these coaches are paying attention to the decisions you're making. So, you know, I always got to remind myself to just reel it in, stay composed, go through my progressions, and listen to my feet.
So how do you feel about the back today?
I thought today was great. I mean, I don't think I had any completion today. I think I was, you know, taking care of the football. I thought I listened to my feet well. I thought I took chances when I had the opportunity to, and I thought I checked the ball down when it was required. So overall, strong day. You know, I think for me, the biggest thing is just as a young player, staying consistent, stacking day after day, because I know I can make any throw out there that, you know, that's required in this offense. But I think it's just being detailed and disciplined with that.
This time last year, it was kind of understood that you were like a number 3 quarterback.
Yeah.
How's your mindset sort of changed this season?
You know, I think I got to go into this camp the same way. No fear. Have that underdog approach. You know, I think last year, looking back at it, I had a great camp. I did a lot of really good things, and I think, you know, going into this offense, just learning this system, continuing to build on it, and I feel really comfortable with it. But also knowing that I haven't repped everything in the system. So not being too hard on myself, but being, you know, disciplined with my approach, you know, and having that swag when I'm out there on the field.
Understanding they're going to rotate you and Spencer, like maybe on a day-to-day basis, who knows, but like to come back the way like you're working at the 3s yesterday, but you're now at the 2s and have a really good day. Does that do anything for you confidence-wise?
You know, I always try to tell myself I got to be the most confident guy out there, no matter what the circumstance is. You know, no matter the situation, I'm just going to keep going through my progressions, keep making throws, and keep trying to lead the guys on the field. So no matter what group it's with, I'll have great command. And, you know, like I said earlier, just keep trying to stack days.
Could you walk us through the throw to Shaheed on the kind of side there? Or?
Was it the 7-on-7 or was it, the down here on this right sideline? You catch it low? Yeah, so we had double dig called, and I tried to hold that safety. They're playing quarters, so I just needed to pay attention to him, make sure he wasn't going to undercut it. Jonathan made a great break on the ball, but Shaheed ran a great route. We were on time, threw it low and away, only where he could catch it. And, you know, when you're precise and when you listen to your feet in this offense, good things happen.
Jake, are you kind of excited to see what Shaheed can do, stepping into a bigger role, maybe getting more opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, the guy's one of the most explosive playmakers probably in this league. You know, they paid him for a reason. They want him around here. They want to see what he can do, you know, in the future. And I think the more opportunities he gets, he'll continue to show people. And, you know, same kind of situation. Guy was an undrafted free agent from Weber State. He carries a chip on his shoulder, and we need guys around like that on our team.
You catch a battle?
I actually have a rare form of skin cancer. So for my age, it's kind of rare that it pops up like that. So I'm trying to get that evaluated with our training staff. I have a consultation with doctors August 1st on our off day to try to figure out how long I can wait because I have to get a different procedure done on my face. So we're just kind of trying to take the necessary steps in order to see how long I can wait till, you know, I have to get that procedure done.
How do you juggle that with this? I mean, I imagine that's...
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of something that just popped up, and I was kind of worried about it. My family was kind of worried about it. It was just this random, odd-looking bump that kept growing, you know, and for me, it was something that I don't see a lot. I don't have a lot of, you know, acne like that, and it popped up, and we needed to go to the dermatologist. They removed it. They did a biopsy on it and came back last week right before camp that it was just kind of a rare form of skin cancer for my age, like I said. And, you know, we got to get that evaluated with doctors August 1st. So we'll take the necessary steps that it takes. And then hopefully when we get back to New Orleans after the preseason, I'll be able to get that procedure done.
When did you see it pop up?
It popped up about a week before we reported, week and a half before we reported. So it was kind of like, you know, something that just popped up, and when things like that pop up, you got to do your best to not ignore it. You got to go take care of it. My family was great. Training staff has been great about dealing with it with me, and obviously just trying to stay focused on what I got to do here.
Are you doing okay mentally?
Yeah, I'm okay mentally. It's just something, like I said, I got to take care of and do the, you know, necessary steps. And the people here, the people in the building, organization has been great. You know, helping me deal with that.
What's it called?
I kind of want to just keep it between our organization right now.
But you're not sure yet if if the treatment will interfere at all with your football schedule?
Like I said, we're kind of going through the necessary steps right now. On August 1st, we're going to go to a different doctor, get evaluated, and we'll go on from there.
So will that determine the severity of it, or?
It's just kind of how long I can wait until I need to have a procedure done. It's not going to be like a life-threatening thing right now. But like I said, if you're with these skin cancer things, if you wait, things spread. So I just got to get it taken care of.
Hey Jay, what kind of goes through your mind when the doctor first says that word?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel like I'm pretty young and healthy to be able to just have something like that pop up. But I want to take care of it, and I want to be responsible about it, and obviously not make it a distraction because I'm going to be fine. Everything's going to be taken care of. But like I said, I don't want to wait too long with something like this, and I want to get it handled. And like I said, the organization has been great with communicating with me and setting things up to make sure I'm healthy.
I heard you had a hole in one on a par four.
I did get a hole-in-one on a par four on a lighter note. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was great. That was back in March or something like that in Florida. I was down in Florida playing golf. Met a couple guys out there. They invited me back out to play with two foursomes, and 8 guys were on the tee box. The next group cleared about 320-yard par four, and sometimes you get lucky.
What course that hole?
It was Plantation Palms, hole 15 or 16.
Wait, most important question: what tee box?
We were playing the backs. It's 320. It was a poke.
I know.
I mean, there was water left and right. It was good.
What did you hit, driver?
I did hit driver. Yeah. Hit a nice cut into the breeze. Landed soft for me. Got lucky.
You had Derek said you're the best golfer on the team, and he has a 2 handicap.
I'm a plus 2.2 right now. So yeah.
Was that your first one?
That was my third. Yeah.
First on a par four, then.
First on a par four. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Shane.
Yeah. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Right, are you going to use that in any story? I want to know.
Wow, Jake Hayner dropped a little bomb right there about the cancer stuff. So blessings to him. Hope and he'll be all right with that. And sound like it's going to be okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. He kind of shared that with the family members. The skin cancer thing. So
Yesterday, Tamari Davis pretty kind of emphatically spoke, saying people should be supporting Dennis Allen and Derek Carr, and that it's there's a lot of expectations around here because of what Sean Payton and Drew Brees did. That kind of take a step back and appreciate what that. What do you kind of make of that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably second that. I didn't really read the whole quote, see the whole interview, but I feel the same way, man. I've had a lot of great coaches, over the course of my career. I think DA is up there, some of the best of them, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think anytime a coach takes over a team, like that's growing pains. You know what I mean? Like it's things that he has to learn, as well. And as far as Derek, man, like it's hard to kind of replace a legend. You know what I mean? So he took it well. I think this year, man, you saw some growth. Especially with him, and the younger receivers. So, that's all you got to ask for, man. And, each and every day, man, he come out here and he's the same guy. He's leading us. And so we support him.
Hey, Tyron, the things that you don't do as well physically that you did 10 years ago, better. Did you make up with that with your mental part of the game? Are you that much smarter where you're in a position now because you've thought it through more than your physical not taking over?
Yeah, I mean, physically, I don't think I've ever been gifted. I think my RAS score was like, pretty average. You know what I mean? So, but for me, it was always about effort, attitude. The way I practice. The way I embrace coaches and teammates. Those things have always given me an edge. And anytime I get on the football field, it's all about practice and the things that you work throughout the weekend. I take those things seriously. I think every time I've showed up, on game day, I've always felt like I had the advantage. You know what I mean? So, but physically, I've always been not Patrick Peterson. I think I've always been Tyrann Mathieu.
Is that why you think you've lasted as long as you have in the league?
Yeah, a lot of prayers, man. A lot of support, and like I said, I've taken this thing serious. When I came in this league, I had a lot of different opinions about me and kind of who I was as a person, and since day one, I've just always taken this thing serious, and 12 years later, I still do. So I really think that's why I've lasted so long, and I make plays too.
Did you see it with this defense that, or like the conversation some people talk about is like, because this is a veteran age group, like, will they drop off? I'm just wondering, like, what you see that drop off isn't occurring. What are signs you look for? Is that something you even pay attention to, that like you guys are still performing at the peak?
Yeah, I mean, each and every year is different. I think each and every year your body feels different. But I think the older you get, man, you just have to kind of have to embrace it. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not young anymore. I don't run as fast as I used to. Probably don't hit as hard as I used to. But I think anytime you come out here, I think a big part of football is, and the reason why we love this game is because when we come out here, like we're kind of feeding off each other. You know what I mean? So, being around young guys and being around Lat and Alante and Debo, I think just that alone kind of get your energy up and ready to go.
Right, Demario was saying that, like, for his position, he looks at, like, even younger, like Fred Warner and stuff like that. There are younger players that kind of make him.
Oh yeah. I mean that's part of it. I think we're all fans of the game. I think we all appreciate great players, and so whether you're a young guy or an old guy, it's kind of cool to be able to look across the league and kind of compare yourself to other guys.
So how different is one just not having fans out here cheering for you?
Yeah, it's not the same, man. I was talking about that earlier with a couple guys, and it's cool to be out here. Definitely. We miss home. You know what I mean?
When you say it's not the same,
obviously it's not as hot. I don't see my kids. I don't see my family in the stands. So just that alone is a little different.
So I really want to your veterans on this team, and Cannon and DeMar the last couple of days talked about, time is not real. You never know when that break could be over. You've been on a couple of Super Bowl appearance teams, and the way that the intensity has been so far this offseason, how much does that really parallel to what the team needs to reach that level? Yeah, man, I think we're getting there. You know what I mean? And like I said, early in the spring, man, it kind of started, with our exit meetings, from last season, and we got a lot of motivated guys. You know what I mean? Me and Demario was talking about that, earlier, and just the expectations I think we have for ourselves. We really haven't lived up to it. So. We got another chance to do it, and I think everybody's motivated, and everybody has different motivations. I think some guys are in contract years, and a lot of us are trying to prove that we can still do it. So it's just a good place to be in, I think, as a team. How does it feel to wear a beanie right now?
A beanie? I feel cool.
Hey, Ty, this is an off topic, but Jacoby Jones feeling smart. Did you know him well?
I met Jacoby a few times. I played against him a few times throughout the league. Obviously a Louisiana kid, and every time I saw him, man, he was always full of life. You know what I mean? And he's a great player too. He was one of those great role players that understood his impact and his role. And still remember when the lights came back on in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And he took it to the house, and like that. Those are one of those moments, man, that you kind of pray for as a kid to make a play like that in the biggest game of the year, in front of your people. So, man, just wishing his family well, really, may he rest in peace.
Tyron, DeMario's been really, once it comes to getting on teammates coming off the field when they're making a simple mistake on defense. How is your approach different when you're talking and helping the younger players along and underneath you?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different. I think for me, you just got to know how to approach guys, how to talk to them. But I think between me, DeMario, and a lot of other guys on the defense, I think that's important. You know what I mean? Just holding guys accountable, and just kind of making them aware of their responsibilities and how much, this means to everybody.
Do you find yourself saying things to these players that veterans said to you in a different team coming up?
Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of great veterans, over the years, between Larry Fitzgerald and Patrick Peterson. And like I said, everybody's a different leader, and everybody approaches different. But you kind of take things from each one of them. And, I'm getting old. I feel old as those guys were, when I came in the league. But it's fun, man. I love it. And like I said, man, it's all about accountability. Just trying to hold everybody accountable to that standard.
Just wonder you to see who wins the starting spot across the field. Matter at all? Or?
Nah, it doesn't really matter. I think I've played with maybe 4 or 5 different safeties since I've been here. It's fun, and it's competitive. I think anytime you got 2 or 3 guys competing for a spot, I think it kind of raises the intensity in the room, the intensity in practice. So just trying to push all those guys along, and made the best one win.
Tyron, at LSU, you were asked about it at your camp already, but what was your reaction when you found out that Corey Raymond was coming back to LSU?
I was happy, man, because before that, it was hard. You know what I mean? It was some 3rd and 8, some 3rd and 9s. We should have got off the field, and we didn't. So, but Corey, man, he has a unique way of connecting with guys and motivating them and challenging them. I didn't really have a chance to play for Corey because the year he came in was the year I got suspended. But obviously, he coached me in the spring, and just those 3-4 months alone kind of made me appreciate him as a coach, and I wish I could have played for him. But he's one of those rare coaches that you get that just relates to guys in a way that most guys can't.
Knowing both how hard it is to keep a roster together and how hard it is to win a Super Bowl, do you ever have conversations with DeMario and Cam about y'all wanting to win a Super Bowl while this particular defensive group is still together?
For sure. Like I said earlier, me and DeMario kind of had that conversation earlier, right? And he's kind of talking about legacy. And, it'd be a shame, like, if I came back home and teamed up with DeMario and Cam and, a lot of great, other great guys on the defense, and, we don't punch our ticket. You know what I mean? Like, we don't live up to the hype or the expectations or the standards that we kind of set for ourselves. So, we're conscious of it, but we don't let it affect our day-to-day. We're just trying to put as much work in as we can, and once we get to game days, kind of let it loose.
Do you still find training camp? I guess, like, do you still approach training camp like the same attitude you may have like years ago? Like, you look at Cam, and he's still running all the way down the field. Like,
I mean, you are who you are. You are who you are. Whether you're in year 1 or year 12, year 19, right? Like, you are who you are, and so it's just important to be who you are, and show up and understand that a lot of these young guys are kind of looking to you, trying to find their way. So it's important to kind of show up and be the same guy, every day.
What would it mean to you to punch your ticket this year, knowing that the game's in your city?
I mean, it would mean a lot. Obviously, that's a long way, down the line. It's a lot of work you got to put in to get to that game, and we just got to take it step by step, game by game. And like I said, man, we just got to find a way to continue to hold people accountable, and make sure that everybody's kind of pushing towards that standard and kind of hitting their head on the ceiling. You know what I mean? Each and every day.
Hey, Ty, when you talk about being one of the older guys, are there examples of like some of these younger guys doing? They make you feel old, like the music they listen to is anything that makes you.
Well, I'm like the team DJ, so every now and then I gotta play like some little baby or some young boy that I don't really want to, like, I don't want that to be my vibration, early in the morning. But sometimes you gotta take one for the team. You know what I mean? Yeah, appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Shout out to Tyron Matthew, man. Dropping some game. We got who else we got coming up here next? Should be Peyton Turner coming up next here. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all watching the Black and Gold training camp report for and there it is. It done went off. Three Stooges popped up there. All right, big ups to the fans. It's supposed to be Peyton Turner popping up there, man. But the Three Stooges popped up there. I don't know what that means. Is that something the universe trying to tell me that? we was hey, I didn't craft that, by the way. Tyron Matthew leaves. We expecting Peyton Turner to pop up here, and the Three Stooges started playing. So I don't know what the hell going on there. Shout out to the fam, man. Appreciate y'all being in the stream, man. Shout out, a round of applause for you guys, man. That was very interesting. But shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all being in the stream, man. Sports Coma early, man. Listen, fam. I just wanted to give y'all a big shout out for kind of listening to this round of day 3 interviews. To kind of go over a few news notes and items to kind of talk about in terms of the black and gold that happened, man. A lot of positive stuff. We talk about Derek Carr, his connection that he had with Chris Olave today, with Alante Taylor guarding him, and he was able to make a great catch on the play, going to the ground, catching the ball. And we always see that from Chris Olave. Chris Olave, look at that tight spiral right there by Derek Carr, right? That was a great camera angle right there, firing to Chris Olave, man. So as you see, Jamal Williams always feeling pretty good, but pretty interesting day, man, for Jake Haener. Talked about the cancer that he's undergoing. He had a blemish on his face that he had removed, and he said it's not life threatening. So shout out to him and many healing blessings going his way. Kool-Aid McKinstry got some work today with the first. This is Marshawn Lattimore left the day. He had a hip flexor, according to what Dennis Allen said. That was something. So Kool-Aid McKinstry got some work in there. Also, very interesting, man, seeing some of that stuff. Lucas Patrick, who's the veteran, was also, having something going at it with and the Saints mixing up with the offensive guards, because we thought Nick Seldevere, even though Nick Seldevere got the first opportunity for that guard position, they're throwing Lucas Patrick, the veteran, in there, mixing it up to see what happened. It kind of created a little bit of a competition there, man. So that'll be fun watching that. And then, of course, Mike Triplett, he had tweeted that the 2 interceptions that the Saints had on the 7-on-7 drill. Spencer Rattler had one tip that was supposed to be going to Stanley Morgan Jr. It was picked off by Jordan Howden. And then Nate Peterman was picked by Rajon Wright. So you had a few things going on there as well. So hopefully Marshawn Lattimore, who left practice and did not return with a hip flexor, he'll be okay. And that's the big part. Of course, we still heard what Dennis Allen said about Kendre Miller, that he's still kind of getting right after having that injury, having that hit, the hamstring situation that occurred. So that's no more of that. But also, good bit of news is they had some footage that was pretty much showing Chase Young moving pretty good, man. Off to himself, he was out there moving and doing his thing. And the note was saying that they were saying that he was actually, and let me see if I can get it on screen right here, that he was actually, if I can get it to work right, but he was actually doing some pretty positive stuff in terms of him moving around out there on the field, all to it by itself. So it wasn't it. So a lot of positive stuff. Let's just put it to you like that. A lot of positive stuff going on right there at Saints training camp. So defense seems to be doing a better, I ain't gonna say better job than the offense, but you know how that goes. Sometimes that's Chase Young going through the drills right there, moving around. And like I said, he's a big part. Chase Young's a big part of the black and gold defense approach with Cam Jordan coming off the ankle. Chase is a major gamble for the Saints, but if he's healthy and the Saints mix in the proper rotations and you got him and Carl Granderson and Willie Gay Jr., the Saints defense, just because last year the defense was actually a pretty decent unit. But let me tell you something. If Chase Young and Carl Granderson takes the next step, Chase Young gets healthy, Cam Jordan stays healthy and is in that rotation, and then you add Willie Gay Jr. next to Demario Davis and the Saints modified nickel look, man, that elevates the Saints defense, because the defense, they simply didn't have that type of versatility last year. You see what I'm saying? So having Chase Young there, man, and Granderson, man, firing off the edges, because those guys are not only pass rushers, but those guys can play the run as well. They set the edges and make sure that, these sneaky quarterbacks that like to run around the edges and all that kind of stuff, they're not going anywhere with Carl Granderson and Chase Young and Willie Gay out there. Let me tell you something. So that is a major look in terms of what the defense could be. So shout out to you guys. Appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. Also, yes, indeed. All right. So anyway, I have a question in the poll that says, do you think Dennis Allen is a better coach this year? And the majority of the family members polled said 64% says yes. So that's a positive, right? So Dennis, the Who Dats feel like Dennis Allen is headed into the right area. He's going where he's supposed to be. And it's pretty cool that you see that happening with Dennis Allen. And if you just heard Tyrann Mathieu talk about accountability, he mentioned it a couple of times. Dennis Allen mentioned it a couple of times. We heard Demario Davis yesterday talk about it, and several other Saints players since training camp has started has talked about accountability and making the focus on attention to detail and this type of stuff. So we really happy to see all of that positive stuff going with the black and gold. To be quite honest with your family, it's really good to hear that, because like I said before, and what was the difference from in terms of why the Saints were losing games? Like, there were games where you had to be a different team to get to that. Like, it's areas of the game that you get to, certain climaxes in the game that when those windows of opportunity present themselves, you're supposed to jump through 'em. You're supposed to, recognize them and then, oh, here I go, and do what you got to do. The Saints didn't do that last year in many games, especially early. And they did play better later on, but that was too late. They lost too many games, fell behind, and couldn't, and then wanted other people to win to help them get into the playoffs. That's not going to work. You got to take care of your own business. A really good team that's serious about winning, don't let other teams take care of their business for them. They have to take care of it themselves. And that was another flaw to the design. Because like when we listened to the Demario Davis interview yesterday, and Demario Davis was saying a lot of beautiful stuff. A lot of it, and like 80, maybe 95% of what I agree with Demario Davis on. The rest of it was, I didn't agree about the Dennis Allen stuff. Now Tyrann Mathieu likes Dennis Allen, and Dennis Allen is a good defensive coordinator, but it's still out there on whether or not what kind of head coach he's going to be. It's still out there. So, like I said, but the biggest missing thing that I seen that was missing from the Saints in winning games last year, especially at the crucial moments of the game that gets them over to get into the winning territory to finish the game, was the attention to detail. They didn't pay attention to that. And then, of course, the accountability issues that happen when teams, because I really wish Demario Davis was more vocal in terms of accountability last year, because we could have really used him speaking up, just like Elvin was speaking up, just like you heard Cam was saying a little stuff. It was mostly Elvin Kamara and Lattimore. Lattimore became the subject of trade discussion. They worked it back. And then Elvin Kamara is now having contract issues with the Saints. Kind of a little pettiness going on there. Elvin said himself that they wanted the emotion, what he said, the feeling was that they wanted me to do something that I didn't want to do. And I'm like, what was that? What the hell did the Saints, when he just touched on it? And then I ain't see any damn articles about it. That needs to be investigated. What did the Saints want Elvin Kamara to do that he did not want to do? That could be possibly holding up them extending him, because all of a sudden Mickey Loomis has been frivolous this whole damn time as a general manager, just throwing money around. It didn't matter if it was whatever year, it didn't matter. And all of a sudden now you won't give a shit about the cap now? Come on, man. Come on. This is Elvin freaking Kamara over here. This guy's like 1,000 yards. I think it's a little less than, maybe more than 1,000 yards to becoming the Saints all-time rusher. It's AK-41. The best offensive player. You're not going to no Super Bowl or having no playoff running without Elvin Kamara there. He's a featured player. He's your best offensive weapon. So like I said, man, it's always some weak ass politics, but at the same time, like I said, it's also puts a bullseye on Mickey Loomis and how he's handling it. Like I've said before, I think Mickey Loomis needs to be replaced as the general manager. I think a lot of Mickey's ideas are flawed as hell. That's what I think. All right. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being here, man. Let me get a few questions. 504 Coast SQ. I think we get 7.5 sacks out of Chase Young this year, which is a decent year. Yeah, he had didn't he have 7.5 sacks last year? 7 sacks and 7.5 between the two teams. I know he was with Washington, then they traded him to San Fran. I think if you combine them together, he had 7.5 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. But if he stays healthy, Why not? Because somebody's going to benefit. You got Carl Grandis who had 8.5. I think Carl gets 10. I think Carl is good enough to get 10, this year. And then you have Chase on one side. Listen, that's a terribly disruptive defensive end combo. Then you throw Cam in there, and then you keep them guys fresh. And you got Peyton Turner in the contract year, Isaiah Foskey, which is a lot of good reports so far in the 2 days of training camp that we've been here for Foskey. So you see a lot of positive stuff going on there. So yeah, I think that's a very smart statement. I don't have any issues with that. How you doing, Dark Side? Shout out to you, fam. Good morning to you. But good afternoon to you, my friend. Appreciate you for being here as well. All right, Jerry says Q will Lattimore. It's unseen right now. They say it's just a hip flexor. OG. I don't think it's nothing terribly troubling or to be concerned about. Just a little hip flexor, and that's some of the reports that are coming out. There is not nothing to be concerned about. Now I know Dennis Allen uses that verbiage, but that's what we're getting at. It's not nothing serious. All right, thank you, OG. All right, shout out to my dog Randolph. Good to see you out there, brother. Appreciate you stopping by. What's up, Pam and Whammy? How you doing? All right, talking to Randolph. All right, but yeah, man, this is a big part of what we like to see. Keeping it real. Okay, this is my Randolph. He said he had wanted him to come in for involuntary sessions, in my opinion. All right, involuntary. They can't hold a hammer up on that, though, Randolph. It's involuntary. And then besides, I don't remember times when he did come in and involuntary. You see what I'm saying? I've never, in recent memory, remember him coming into an involuntary practice session when it's involuntary. It's their choice. If you want him to be there, make it mandatory. Why give him the option? That's the thing about it. Like, we want all our players here. Well, then make it mandatory then. Oh, we can't. We want you to make it. Well, he made a decision to go work out by his goddamn self. And Alvin Kamara, there is no questions about Kamara conditioning ever. He's the best conditioned athlete the Saints have. He's always in shape. Always. Never any question. Even Loomis and them talked about that, about and Dennis Allen mentioned that. There's never any question about Alvin Kamara's shape. So that's the guy I would exclude from even, talking about involuntary stuff. And besides, I don't think they petty enough. But then again, Mickey Loomis is petty to jam him up on something as simple as that, man. You better get him his money. All right. Shout out to you, brother Byron. Good to see you, man. All right. KD says it's positive, but I can't do much worse than the past year. But yeah, this is true. All right. How you doing, Colorado? Appreciate you, man, being here. Hope you're having a good time here. All right. Yeah. Oh, he says, Pam says, Big Q, they wanted Elvin to hush. Yeah. And I made a comparison. Number one, you had two players that were very vocal. They were a part of the quote unquote non-fractured locker room guys. Remember we talked about this? Put one in the chat if y'all remember that, because that needs to be really investigated by here. There should be no discussion here. Free up the damn money if you need to. I think the Saints got like $12 million right now in cap money. Hold on, let me take a look at it. I think it's like 12 million or something. Hold on, I'll get that on the screen just a second. But yeah, that's one of the things that I looked at, fam. We talked about the whole situation around Alvin Kamara, because you can't say, and people are like, man, the guy's washed. I'm like, what dumbass think Alvin Kamara is washed? The Saints didn't even use him that much, especially to the last 2 or 3 years. He's still very much in great shape. He's not a beat up ass running back. That's what Carolina did to Christian McCaffrey. They ran him into the ground. And then when they thought that they couldn't get anything out of him, they shifted him to San Francisco. And then he had 2 really solid years with the 49ers. And last year led the NFL in rushing, had double-digit touchdowns rushing. And he got broke off with that extension. So, it's just, you can't really say that he's beat up. So what's the other excuse? Alvin Kamara was a part of those, the fractured, non-fractured, the people they denied there wasn't a fractured locker room. It was a bunch of guys, but the 2 biggest names was Lattimore, who they were initially going to trade until they walked it back. They worked it out. And then Alvin Kamara was the other guy. Now he's having contract issues. And they said that it was feelings he needed to do what he get and all this kind of stuff. It shouldn't come down to feelings. I thought it was about business. And feelings has nothing to do with it. You see how they play games, throw it around? There's not anybody more feeling-y in the building, if that's a word, than Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen. Those guys are governed by their emotions. Especially Mickey Loomis. He gets all pissy. And by the way, that's the perfect segue, man. Y'all throw y'all questions in the chat as we move to this. This is one I wanted to show with y'all right quick, man. This is one right here. I was thinking about Mickey Loomis. I'm like, hold on, this is a perfect segue to this article right here that, I seen right here from somebody sent me this. Saints general manager says ESPN writer is unqualified to rank team's future, but is Mickey Loomis qualified? See, they're starting to get it. You're starting to get it. Nobody talks like this. Nobody in the NFL sit on their ass that comfortable and tell reporters and people that they're not qualified to judge his team. And doesn't even tell you what you mean qualified. What do you have to be qualified to talk about the child's game that grown ass men playing? What you got to be, Loomis? Explain that. And the people, they starting to pick up on that. And he did this last year, and I slammed his ass on the ground for that. I really did. I tried my hardest too. But that's the thing about being a elitist prick like that. Because only an elitist jerk would say something like that. You're not qualified. Well, I don't get any advice from you. You're not qualified. You're unqualified. He said last year that you're not qualified when he's talking about people giving good criticisms of Dennis Allen and his failures last year, his inabilities to change during the game or between weeks to lead to success. So this is an article right here we go over it, and this is what the guys had to say. Saints general manager Loomis bristled at the question this week at training camp for troubled franchise. This is the quote. He says, this team is pretty widely dismissed. Former ESPN writer Mike Triplett, now with with New Orleans football, said on the eve of training camp in Irvine, California on Tuesday, there was a publication ESPN by John Sigler today that said you were ranked, as shout out to John, another good one, says you was ranked as having the 31st brightest future in the NFL. What do you think about people missing? He says, what are people missing about what you should be, why they should be optimistic? Very fair question. So the way it was framed was Mike Triplett basically, kind of gave him a lob and said, hey, man, listen, they believe this way. What are they missing about the Saints and how you see them? And what Mickey Loomis says was, he says, let me see what I got to put. He says the piece ranking, let's say, just go into it. The piece's ranking of the Saints is not reached by any means. It had Las Vegas at number 32. So you could probably get some great odds in Las Vegas, such and such. New Orleans was 9-8 last year under the second year coach Dennis Allen after 7-10 in 2022. And 9-8 finish with Sean Payton. Then he says, this is what Mickey Loomis then turns out and says. He says, hold on here, let me get that right. He says, I don't care, said Loomis, who had been the team's GM since 2002. I don't care about what the other media people say because most of them are unqualified. They have the right to their opinion, but they're not qualified to be critical. They're not qualified to be critical. He said that. They're not qualified to be critical. What qualifies you? And I made a joke about it and all that, saying go to slickmickey.com and get your tier 1, your tier 2, your tier 3. You got the slick. You got the Mickey. I forgot what I said. It's the different multiple tiers of it. Y'all put it in the chat if y'all remember them. I forgot what, but I think the third one's the Slick Mickey Maestro or something like that. I don't know. But the man says, wow, not qualified to be critical. New Orleans, he says, I know New Orleans has been called the United States' most European city. That usually means in a good way, but this is America, Mickey. I don't ask them for advice. This is Mickey Loomis, so why would I pay attention to a critique from them? Well, because your team sucked for the last 3 years, particularly the last 2 under Allen, whom you hired. Peyton gets a pass for 21 because that was his first year without Breeze, and starting Jameis Winston was lost for the year to an injury at midseason, and Peyton had to go with journeyman Trevor Simmons and a novelty quarterback Taysom Hill. Actually, maybe Loomis should have asked someone for advice, particularly before promoting Allen from defensive coordinator to replace Peyton. Outkick offered some good advice there. So, yeah, he kind of talked about it. But, yeah, Mickey Loomis has been saying and doing this dumb garbage stuff for a while, and he needs to be told not to do this. You need Dennis Lucia. You need to get up off your ass and tell Mickey Loomis to stop saying stuff like that. For real, man. You need to tell him to stop getting out here, running his damn mouth, being thin-skinned, and telling people that they're not qualified to talk football. They need to check him on that. That don't make any sense for him to be saying that foolishness like that. That's stupid. All because they don't like his moves. But if they was praising him, he'd be up there smiling ear to ear, agreeing with him. You know, don't be a public figure. Don't be the general manager anymore if you can't take criticism, especially if you failing, man. What's wrong with you, fool? You failing. You don't sit here and thumb your nose at the people and tell them you're not qualified. You're not qualified. You're unqualified to talk about my team. What? Stop saying, somebody tell that fool to stop saying that, please, in the Saints building. Tell him, check him on that, and stop telling him, tell his ass not to say that anymore, because that's stupid. That just shows how weak, flimsy, and thin-skinned Loomis is when he makes asinine ass comments like that national press people are picking up. They're starting to see exactly what we've been saying. I've been saying this stuff for a while about Mickey Loomis. When I exposed him, what was that? A couple years ago, I say, fam, this dude ain't no general manager. The moves that he was making, the majority of the moves was told to him by Sean Payton. They even mentioned that in this article. I think these people might be listening to the show because they sound just like me in this article. And I've been saying this now for the last couple of years. Sean Payton covered up a lot of stuff here, made a lot of people look better than what they actually were. And Mickey Loomis was one of those people. That's why if you look at what he's done since then, has not even been up to the standard of what it was when Sean Payton was here, because Sean Payton was telling him, listen, I need this, I need that, I need this. And Mickey's biggest gift was going out and going get the guys that Sean Payton wanted him to get. It's not the same with Dennis Allen. The draft picks are not the same. The free agency is not the same. And instead of being accountable, we talk about accountability. Mickey Loomis was fighting the accountability model last year when I had to just constantly just telling the real truth. You can't sit up here and talk about people unqualified and you're failing every year. The team is a good team that's underperforming. You can't do that. Brother Randolph says, Q, looks like we have found a diamond in the undrafted free agent this field. Had my doubts at first, but when Clancy Brown, I know who you're talking about, Randolph. I told you. You think you kind of slick there, huh, Randolph? You ain't put the man name on there, huh, brother? I see what you did right there. I told you. See, Randolph think he's slick, man. You think he's slick, huh, brother? You think he's slick? You ain't put that man name on there. See, that could have been anything, anybody, undrafted free agents. That's a bunch of them. But see, the code, the keyword or words there is Clancy Barone, which indicates the tight ends. He's the tight end coach. So I told you. I told you. Shout out to you, Randolph. All right, what's up, Kathleen? Big ups to you, man. All right, Queen. She says Mickey and Dennis needs to get thicker skin. Yeah, that was too petty. Oh, listen. I don't have to put up with this. I tell your ass. Listen. I've been doing this for 30 years. How many of you been doing anything for 30 years? Huh? I'm qualified. Yeah. He ain't qualified. That's some elitist nonsense to set up there. And you a goddamn employee, man. This dude, not even the queen and the king of countries talk that way. They're not foolish enough to sit up there and separate themselves from the people like they on some extra, like they on some another level. Mickey Loomis, you're not no more intelligent than the average man, but you're a lot more thin-skinned than the average man. I'll tell you one. You more thin-skinned than anybody else that I know. I'm gonna be honest with you. To be sitting up there as some general manager, you're gonna take some bows and arrows. I don't listen to them. I'm willing to tell you, I don't listen to their goddamn asses. I don't care. I don't give a rat's ass. I don't care. Hold on, Mickey, calm down. Mickey, what's going on? Well, I'm fed up with this. How dare you bring this shit to me? Where's my blood pressure medic? I tell you something. I can't. I don't give a rat's ass. I'll tell you. I've been doing this for 30 years. Shut up. Shut your ass up. Shut up. You're talking about it. Stop. Somebody smack him upside his head and say, hey, stupid. Don't say that no more, man. Dumbass, man. Hey, I'll say, you ain't lying. Every time I put on NFL, it's a different blonde hair, blue-eyed chick. Okay, y'all must be talking about something else. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. It's just straight up ridiculous. Alcherimo, what's up, fam? Say, Q, when the fantasy league cranking up this? Damn, yeah. I don't know, brother. When? Let me see. It's gonna have to fire up soon, man. I'm gonna have to put it together. I think we missed it last year. Was it last? Yeah, I didn't do the fantasy because I was so busy. I had like a bunch of stuff that I was doing, and it just got beyond me. So thank you for reminding me of that. Matter of fact, I got my piece of paper right here. Let me go ahead on and write that down right now about the Sports Coma Fantasy League, man, because I was supposed to do it last year and it got beyond me, man, and I got to do it. So let me go ahead and put that down. Let me go ahead and put that down for the Fantasy League because I know let me go ahead and write that down. All right, I got it down, Ocharimo, man. I'm going to let you know, but just stay posted, bro. We're going to get it going. Thank you for reminding me, bro. Reginald says, who that? Okay, big ups to Reginald. Rel says, will Mickey do a season? No, he won't. You know it, Rel. Rel, you know he ain't going to do it. Mickey says he doesn't do in-season evaluation. Well, that's the perk of being a vice president. Who's going to tell me not to do my damn job when I'm my own boss? I'm my own goddamn boss. I tell you something. I am the hell with that. Yeah, it's just too much, man. It's too much. Like it gets to a point like we know that the man, like I don't like how he got fleeced by the Philadelphia GM. I just think it's time for a change. Like if Mickey Loomis and it won't come from the top because then people not even paying attention. All they looking at is the balance books. That's all they do. Is pay attention to the balance book. So if we're looking for a change at that level in terms of Mickey Loomis still keeping his VP job and giving up the general manager job to a younger person, I don't think that's going to happen because he's selfish. He think he can do both and he really can't. He really, and a lot of what I was discovering, a lot of what he's doing, Kai Harley's actually doing. So Kai Harley's doing a lot of the work. He's VPing it out while Kai Harley's assistant general manager is doing a lot of his stuff so he can smash it. So it's just time for a change, man. All right, Kathleen says in the GM that can do evaluations during the season because it's too emotional. Yeah, that's he said that. For people that probably would, did he really say that? Yes, he did say that. That's what he said. Now, I just wanted to pinpoint this article. We've been talking about this, man. I just wanted to share this with y'all about this article, which is a national article talking about Mickey Loomis telling people that they're unqualified to criticize his team. And he listening. He know he listen. There is nobody that would be that venomous and immature and unbalanced about comments that they never heard before. He heard some of the comments. He like, well, I ain't hear that. People, they just got, they feel that way, and that's okay. We have been losing a lot of games lately. We have been losing games lately. Maybe, people feeling a certain kind of way. We have been losing lately, and that's on me as a general manager. I have to do better. And that's why we got pressure on the team to step it up and do it. It's a way, it's a class, it's a grace to handle that. not this petulant child routine that he goes on by. You're not qualified. You're not qualified. You're not qualified. That kind of foolishness. No, we don't need immature. This man, like in his 60s. How old is this man? Is he 6 or 60 plus? What's going on here? You're listening. Anytime you have that rancid ass response for some criticism who you say you didn't hear before, come on, man. You listening. Your goddamn ass is listening. You listening. But anyway, yes, fam. So it's good talking points today from Saints camp. We heard from Dennis Allen. He made mention of Lattimore having a hip flexor right there. That was something to kind of watch out for, but nothing serious according to what they're saying during the camp as well. Jordan Mims is stepping up, taking reps in place of Kendre Miller, which is positive. And Jordan Mims is a good veteran running back. So, it's good to see him there. The Saints have two good ones. The other one is James Robinson, who's actually a pretty decent veteran running back too. That's behind him on the depth chart. And then they got a pretty decent running back as well. And Kabodi, I think his name is, from out of Louisiana. So he's our only undrafted running back this year. So some good stuff happening between the quarterbacks as well. Yeah, some interceptions going on as well in the camp, but Derek Carr was able to hook up with Chris Olave a couple of times. One of them was a real fantastic catch that he made against Alante Taylor along the sideline. He was able to come down with the ball. That was pretty popping. And like I said, the defense continues to have a solid outing over the last 3 practices, the last 3 days of practice. The defense has been solid. Not saying the offense hasn't been, but it's the defense is doing a good job. And that's positive because we definitely need our defense to get after the quarterback, to provide pressure. We know we have a top 5 secondary, and it's only going to get better. 2 really good people in the secondary we watch out for. And like I said, there's not been a year that I remember in recent memory where our secondary was able to stay healthy for the summation of the season. So it's good to have Kool-Aid McKinstry there. It's good to have players like that. Jonathan Abrams, another dude that really is stepping his game up as a veteran there. He's doing a really good job at that other safety next to Tyrann Mathieu. And Jordan Howden did get an interception today. So shout out to Jordan Howden doing his thing as well. Rajon Wright, who's one of the deeper reserve cornerbacks right there, probably, trying to make a name for himself in camp. So we're seeing some pretty positive things. Rashid Shaheed was talking about, his improving his blocking. Also, Chris Olave said that yesterday about, a big part of the game and the offense is that they're decent blockers, but they have to continue to step their game up because they'll be called upon to make those blocks to open up lanes for Elvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, or whoever else that the Saints decide to give the ball. Then the really interesting thing is the fact that Jake Haener talked about the skin cancer, that he had a bandage on his face, something that had been removed. He talked about it, kind of shared that with the Who Dat Nation. That was a very positive thing for him to do, as then the prayers will come from the Who Dat Nation, and then he would be, blessed with all that really divine positive energy coming from the Who Dat Nation. So that was very, very good of him to kind of share that game, or share his personal, problems with the black and gold. So that was very interesting to hear that as well. So a few things, man, also to talk about it. On the 7-on-7, Cedric Wilson and Chris Olave had some pretty good catches in there as well. And as we got a good look at during some highlights. You'll see some of them highlights of Kool-Aid McKinstry doing his thing out there and working. Matter of fact, let me see if I could pull some of this stuff up right now, because I was looking at some of these highlights of Kool-Aid. Okay, here go one right here. Hold on. Here we go. Here go one right here. Kool-Aid McKinstry out there doing his thing right there, covering Chris Olave. Well, that's Alante Taylor there. And then you see right there, Kool-Aid right there, number 34 on him. But yeah, it was very positive, man, for the Saints. But like I said, a lot of people believe that the Saints defense continue to set the tone. And like I said, I showed some of the family members footage of Chase Young running, not going up against anybody, just going through drills. He looks smooth and fluid. The report saying that the Saints are going to take a ramped up approach with Chase Young, which is very positive as well. And they can afford to do that because all of the depth that the Saints have at the defensive end position could be something that we pay attention to as well. So it's all very positive, man. All very positive. All very positive. All right. So anyway, man, shout out to y'all, man. Y'all feel free to, if y'all have any questions, man, y'all feel free to throw them in the chat. All right. Rel says, yeah, we already know he won't do that. All right. Yeah, Kathleen. Yeah, indeed. Shout out to you. Marley Mall, what's happening, bro? Say somebody about to get that. Okay, that's that's big low verbiage. Huh? Okay, yeah. Somebody check on J Live because he loved Jake from State Farm. All right, Ivan says, what's up, bro? He says, he says, Ron, I think it's looking great for us how the Saints are approaching this year. Thank you, brother Ivan. Absolutely, sir. Yeah, they are looking crisp. And even for people that don't like Dennis Allen, I got to tell you something. He's speaking right. And is that something that will stay? Well, it's driven because he's under the gun. I said this last stream is they got the pistol dead on him. And it's the firing pistol. So Mickey Loomis took a ridiculous amount of pressure last year to get Dennis Allen up out of here. He really just peeled off a lot of stuff off Mickey Loomis. A lot of stuff. Seen a lot of stuff about Mickey Loomis that I didn't like. The nasty press conference he had with all that nasty ass gum chewing and all that, his eyes bucking, saying ridiculous stats that made no sense in terms of Dennis Allen. You don't put that kind of pressure on a coach that just had been a head coach for 6 years or 5 or 6 years, whatever it is. And he just got his first winning season in terms of a record that wasn't a playoff year. Don't put that pressure on him. You got enough pressure on him already to justify. You don't have to use stats of Hall of Famers to justify keeping your coach. Don't do that because everyone is different. And the C with Dennis Allen right now is he's talking right. Now it's definitely a combination of different things got him. It's because this is a year where if he don't make the playoffs, he's going to lose his job. He's going to get fired. Then he does a bold move, which is to replace 85-90% of the offensive staff and bring in a whole new system, not just to keep Sean Payton's system and bring somebody else here that was more of a aggressive person that could take Sean Payton's system or is familiar with it and run it close to like he did. He's like, nah, we're just going to scrap it and put in a whole new offense. That says a lot. And with the schedule, a lot of the heavyweights are the schedule is top heavy. Now they have some decent games later on in the year against Green Bay and all this kind of stuff, but the schedule is top heavy, meaning, you're going to see a lot of weighted teams at the top of the schedule and you got to have to win. So listen, I want Dennis Allen to win because I don't want to waste no time losing. I think losing hurts DeMario Davis's legacy because we want, like Tyrann Mathieu just said. He said it'll be a shame. I think I'm paraphrasing. It'll be a shame if Tyrann Mathieu, DeMario Davis, and Cam Jordan didn't play in the Super Bowl. They didn't take his hometown team to the Super Bowl. That would be a waste. Especially when we got everything we need to survive, that would be a waste. So at the end of the day, man, we just have to keep on watching. But yeah, it's a big gamble for Dennis Allen, man. But I like the gamble. I really do. I think something drastic had to take place. Dennis said there's nobody else to fire. You can't fire anybody and blame them. You're all out of that. So the bullseye's pointed right at him. And like I said, man, he's talking about accountability and attention to detail. But man, people were saying that. I was saying that shit last year. The best Lattimore and Elvin Kamara, they were saying that stuff and they were mad at them people for saying that. Now they saying it now. Boy, I tell you, man. But that's about development. Like, man, which coach don't know what accountability is. Go and take this. How do we do that? How do we get there? So now we here. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all folds because, like I said, they ain't do the Saints no No any favors with the schedule. And then on top of that, the reality is the Saints, they gotta put it together. This is a very serious camp, man. So you're gonna see a lot. That's what I'm saying. It's a pressure, a sense of urgency over the top of the camp right now, man, where that's good. I like that. It means something. So let's get it. All right. Yeah. Mr. Head Tap said he had a hip flexor, according to what they're saying, is not serious, but we'll see. All right. Chelsea says, bring back TM13, bring back Michael Thomas. I don't think that's gonna happen. Yes. I don't think that's gonna happen. Michael Thomas was one of those players too, the fractured locker room guys, they call it. Elvin, Michael Thomas, Marshawn Lattimore. There was the heavyweights in there. Mike was gone. Marshawn almost got traded. And Elvin Kamara can't get a contract right now. Very interesting. Very interesting. Marley said, I swear if Dennis mess up this year, D.A. Mickey should get cursed out. All right. Randolph, what's up, bro? Says Q. Dallin Hawker starting. He said it's starting Q, not Foster. Okay. Hold on. What? You say he's starting this. Well, right. He's getting first team reps right now because Juwan Johnson's hurt. Foster Monroe will be the backup. So you thinking Dallin Hawker would be the second tight end? Is that what you're saying, Randolph? He said Juwan may not get his starting job back. Remember, Coach Barone said we should see something special for him once camp starts, undrafted free agent with the ones. Yeah, he is running with the ones right now because Juwan Johnson's is there. I think Juwan Johnson's under a contract year, if I'm not mistaken. I think Juwan's facing the contract year. But remember, he was one of the guys that often a very curious story to Juwan Johnson that I always like to think about, this kind of show people that the dreams come true, visions become reality. Juwan Johnson was the last wide receiver. When he first arrived, he was the last wide receiver in the Saints room of a bunch of talented wide receivers that year. We were saying during that time, hey, man, they need to take this guy and transform him into a tight end because he has the size, the blocking ability. He'll be better utilized as a tight end. We were saying that when he was a wide receiver. The next year, the Saints took him, converted him to a wide receiver, and he was at the back of the tight end room. Then the following year, he fought up from the back of the tight end room when you had Nick Vanette. What's the guy, the fish man, Adam, what's his name? I forgot the man name. The fish man. What's his name, y'all? Y'all remind me. He plays for Sean. He starts for Sean Payton's squad right now. Troutman. Was it Adam Troutman, the fish man? Yeah, so you had Troutman. You had when Nick Vanette was sorry as hell, who Sean Payton gave like a 3-year deal to Nick Vanette like he was something. I was like, who is this guy? Guy couldn't stay healthy, couldn't block, he couldn't catch. Sean Payton gave the dude a 3-year deal. I was like, what kind of foolishness is that? Well, Mickey Loomis did. And then you had Fishman, and then you had Juwan Johnson on the back. Actually, he was buried there and end up Fishman gets traded. Nick Vanette gets released. Juwan Johnson climbed up there and ultimately got into to be tight end number 1. He got, an extension. I think he has 1 year left on his current deal. He's a free agent after next year. And he's also in a prove it situation with Juwan Johnson this year. So yeah, Dallin Hawker, man. Because I went back, Randolph, and I studied Dallin Hawker's his film. And what my analysis was on it was, I said, this guy reminds me of, and he likes all of the best tight ends. He likes all of the tight ends. Like he likes Kittle. He likes Kels. He likes, what's the other guy? I know you got Kittle, Kels, and it's another dude that he mentioned that he likes, that he mimics he likes the game. But to me, looking at him, being that I'm a diehard Who Dat man, I went back in my mind. I was like, man, this dude reminds me of Jeremy Shockey, like not as crazy and wild, as Jeremy Shockey is, but his game reminds me of Jeremy Shockey with a little bit more, not more control, but not as wild because Jeremy Shockey was wild. But he reminds me of Jeremy Shockey a little bit. But the guy hasn't. I mean, he was one of those slip through the crack type players that arrived The Saints seen and say, hey, man, this dude might be something. He had the size, he had the speed, he had the blocking ability. He's good catching the football, and some kind of way he slipped through the cracks of the draft. And the Saints, well, we do good with undrafted guys. And we were able to pull him here. And then if you look at the tight end room, Juwan Johnson had a foot issue. Foster Monroe was never going to be a starter at this level. He was just a blocking backup guy to get some veteran ability there. And then the rest of the tight ends the Saints have are long shots. So, yeah, Dale and Hawkers definitely have an opportunity to climb, a lot higher. So, yeah, I seen that happen. I was like, yeah, that guy is going to be something, man. If he was what he was, I think he will be all right. And there he is. So shout out to you, Brother Randolph, because you was very adamant about him. But big ups to you, brother, for admitting that, hey, man, I was wrong, Okay, he says, yes, he's starting. He has been starting tight ends each day. Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, he been taking first team reps. That'll help him. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if you're thinking he might end up getting up to the second TE2. If Juwan Johnson isn't on the field, you probably we'll see where they go. But yeah, if he's taking TE1 snaps right now, he might go past Foster Monroe because you need somebody with that ability to kind of does what he's doing. The dude's a balanced tight end, blocks, moves very well for a tight end, catches the ball, not just the lumbering big tight end, the old traditional ones, a streamlined, more contemporary version of the tight ends that a lot of teams have. Like he fits amongst the dude from Detroit tight end, the Hawkinson from Minnesota, the guy from LaFondra, whatever. I keep forgetting the man name. Good tight end that they have up there with the Detroit Lions and everybody else. He fits that streamlined contemporary tight end that most people want. All right, but shout out to Randolph, man. All right, yeah, Jeremy Shockey. Y'all look at the tape on. He reminds me of Jeremy Shockey, man. Strange, very strange. All right, Millie 2L says, heard a lot of people saying trade AK like hamstring. Miller proved that he can be one but can't stay healthy. I said that. People, I don't know. The thing about it's like, man, this, that, and the third. The Saints, Alvin Kamara is still the Saints' best offensive player. He still is. And the Saints are paying him good right now. They're paying him a good amount of money to be the running back right now. He wants to make a little bit more than that heading forward. So they kind of been apart on the money, but it's just up to Alvin Kamara to just go out there with a chip on the shoulder and do what he do. We'll get the best version of AK-41 with that contract looming over his head. I don't think it'll be a distraction because Alvin Kamara is a professional. But like I said before, I would caution people to not trade or talk about trading your best offensive player when you don't have a competent person to step in to play all those weeks of games that you can build your offense around. You need that running attack. The running attack is what you're going to need to set the Saints offense up. It's not going to be Carr first. It's the running attack first with Carr operating as a complement to it, which that's how the play action gets going. Running game gets going, play action gets going, then Carr gets in there and he starts doing what he's doing like he did late last year and had success. That's basically the standard for success, getting the play action going. That way you have their head on a swivel. They don't know what you're going to do, whether you're going to pass or run. So in order to do that, you need your best weapon. That's Alvin Kamara. So, yeah, Kendre Miller, man, I said, man, he did really well in the back end, but I need to see a full season of Kendre Miller staying healthy before I make the decision that he should be relied upon. Because people see him as the future, but the future is not now. It's not now. He's not ready. All right. Okay. Chelsea says Pam is number one big. Okay, there you go. There you go. I agree with that. All right. Marley says, Pam, I heard you've been going through. Okay, hold on now. We what y'all talking about here? Cut it. I don't know. I got to step on out that. Terrence says, he said, I hear you. You may be right. Okay. Prince saying something now. Okay. Kendre is a bust. Okay. He's saying, okay. Brother Prince is saying he feels like Kendre is a bust. It's too early for that, bro. Can't say that. I can't say that. Laporta. There you go. For whatever reason, I can't remember that man's name. I always seem to forget his name. All right. Yeah, that's that. Yeah. But I can't say Kendre, man. I could say Davenport's a bust. I don't think we're going to see. I think Pete Werner's there too. He's healthy right now, but Pete Werner, the entire time he's been here, and this is last year, the Saints denied his, turned down his 5th year because they ain't want to pay him $13 million or whatever it was. But he's on the cusp, and he's buried behind a bunch of defensive ends. Cam Jordan, he's like the 4th defensive end. So even there, like I said, it could be the Trey Hendrickson effect with him. He can have 15 sacks, and the Saints still not sign him, So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But, yeah, I think they just lost confidence because you have a first-round draft pick. You don't go out and get Chase Young if you think Peyton Turner is going to step up to the plate. you don't go get Chase Young, who's injured. You stick with who you got or get a veteran that can fill in the roster at the back of the defensive end rotation. You don't go get Chase Young. If you believe in Peyton Turner and you got Carl Granderson and then you got Cam Jordan there, you don't go get Chase Young. So, I mean, I think the writing's on the wall with him too. All right. Yeah. So, all right. Randolph's exactly, but Foster, the vet, he should be up with the number ones, not under. You making a point. Yeah. Foster is not the future. Like I said, he's I think Foster, his contract, I think both of those guys' contracts. Or hold on, give me a second. Let me take a look at something. Because I want to say both Foster and Jawan Johnson, both of those guys on 1 year left on a contract. I want to say, let me double check here. It's a lot to account for. Oh, no. Foster got 1 more year left. Okay. He got 1 more year left. All right. So, yeah, he got this year and next year. Okay, so he's under contract to 2025 and it goes up. He got a little escalating contract where it goes up a little bit here. Here he is right here. All right, so you got him this year at 3.4 million, then it goes up to 3.6 million. And then he got phantom years. Mickey Loomis drew into his contract to kind of extend out for Foster Monroe. So we'll have Foster Monroe until he's 28. So he got 1 extra year. I want to say, let me pull up Jawan Johnson. I want to say Jawan Johnson has a year left on his contract. Yeah, if I can find him. What the hell is his name, man? Yeah, but that's did I pass it up? There you go. Yeah, this is his last year. So yeah, he got he making 5.5 million this year, and then he on the contract, yeah, and Foster has a year. So yeah, Dale and Hawker has got a future here, man, no doubt about it. All right, Jim Kiff says we need something from Peyton Turner this year. He's gonna give you something as a backup. He's healthy, and Dennis Allen was giving him some praise. All right, Princess Q, if we missed applause for a 4th year in a row, is DA fired? Absolutely, bro. DA knows this. The Saints know this. Mickey Loomis cannot protect that man no more. That he has to win. It's the bottom line. Now, that's the question. That's why it's a sense of urgency with the black and gold right now. He has to win. That's what it come down to. He got to win. If he doesn't win, that means he's going to get terminated. The Saints offensive people that took the job here, they do understand, because most of them, it's about security. They understand the risk that are involved here because they get the job. If the offensive staff don't bring it, that's why they're so serious and tight-faced it over there, because they know that ain't no time for no playing. We got to get this right. And if we don't, we could be out of here in 1 year. So a lot of pressure is on Clint Kubiak, Andrew Janoko, and that entire offensive system. Inside of it, the assistant coaches, that whole side, to get it together and get it together fast. And like I said, last year you had opportunities where you can build up to a crescendo. This year is different. You might get a weak game against Carolina, depending on what they look. They might be animated. I don't know. And then you get Dallas, then you get Philly, and then Atlanta, and then you get Kansas City, and then you get Tampa Bay. Don't look past Tampa Bay either. They've been playing the Saints pretty good as of late. Then you get Denver on the short week. Sean Payton comes to town. So, these could be problematic. So if Dennis Allen, I wanted to say this early in the broadcast, but if Dennis Allen is in the hole, like if he beat Carolina and then you go into a hole like you're maybe not 1-3, but you go through 5 weeks and you're like 1-4 or something like that. I don't think they're going to be 1-4. I think they could be able to beat Not all the teams. I'd be surprised if they go 5-0 or something like that. I don't anticipate that happening. But if they can go through the first 5 games of the season at 3-2, that's a victory. But if it's like 2-3, that's not so bad. And so far as for Dennis Allen, I wouldn't like that. But if it's less than that, like if it's 1-4, that's going to be very difficult for Dennis Allen. Like he gotta win, man. Like if he's in the hole going into the season and they're behind 2 or 3 games, man, he might not make it to like the middle of the season, like to week 8 or 9 or whatever. He might not make it there. And then what's going to happen is the pressure. Oh my God, the pressure. If he's in the hole in terms of wins and during that throughout the schedule, the pressure is going to be unforgiving. It's going to be unforgiving, the pressure. Just going to keep it real with you. I don't think he gets through that. He's going to be standing up there with that possum puss saying, oh, we just got to keep chopping. We got to keep chopping wood and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. You got to get these wins, fam. You got to win. So this is why the season has such the training camp and then the preseason has such a certain energy to it because it's an urgency. These guys are going to get fired. Thank you, Prince. Shout out to you, fam. Appreciate you. All right, Jack says the tight end room is a bunch of bums. Okay. All right, Jack. All right. He also says Dennis Allen is HOF according to Mickey Loomis. Yeah, we played that skit last night with Mickey Loomis bucking his eyes, making crazy comparisons. That's what he does. Now, Millie 2 says, who's going to replace the Honey Badger when he leaves? I don't know, brother. I don't think that player is on the team. You got Jordan Howden on, there. And then I think the Saints have to find somebody, they will have to find a safety, to place there. I don't think the Honey Badger replacement. I like Jordan Howden. He's the best future safety you have, but I don't know. I think they might have to find somebody and probably through the draft because the money situation is the issue. So Cartel Bo says, Q, if DA was to fail again, does Clint stay offensive coordinator or do you move him up? Okay, I got you. Yeah, if they fire Dennis Allen during the season, I could see, Clint Kubiak being placed as the interim coach, but if he fails as Clint, now I don't know. They'll interview Clint Kubiak for the job, but do you want but think about the circumstance. If your scenario plays out and DA loses, the Saints lose, they fire Dennis Allen. What do you think the Saints are going to do insofar as moving forward into the future? Are they going to get an inexperienced head coach to take the reins of the team into the future? Or do you get an experienced coach, not an older coach like a Bill Belichick, which I don't think they'll ever do that because Mickey Loomis, Bill Belichick would want a lot of power to graft the team with general manager duties, and Mickey Loomis would feel too insecure about that. So it'd probably be a coach in between, but it's like in the NBA, it's like in the NFL. A lot of times the teams are going to the template where you go get a hot, intelligent, cheap, up and coming coach. It could be Clint Kubiak, who does have the lineage. With Kubiak, you can look at him. He could be a respected guy. We might give him his opportunity, and then there are other guys that's a little bit more experienced than him that's had coaching positions before, like a Brian Flores, who gonna come in for the job, check out for the job, and stuff like that. So, it could be the way. And then looking at the Saints situation, monetarily speaking, I don't see them breaking the bank, trying to go out and get they had Doug Peterson walked in the door. That was the first coach the Saints had an opportunity to hire. And that was like, surprise. Dougie Peterson's here to interview for the job. He interviewed with the Saints and then left. The very next stop, Jacksonville signed him to a contract, and he took that team, turned around, got him in the playoffs. They ain't been in the playoffs for years. Dougie P turns around in his first year. And then the Saints struggle. They go they go backwards. And then finally, the last year, go 9-8, still 9 playoffs. So, and then Dougie Peterson's Jags beat the Saints, didn't they? When he played them straight up, everybody beat the Saints that they interviewed for, but he beat them straight up. So like I said, man, I don't know. As long as Mickey Loomis is in place doing these hires, it's always going to be questionable motivations because there is nobody checking his thought process. And that's why he's so terribly elitist, because ain't nobody telling Mickey Loomis, hey, man, what's your game plan? And if he tells you that, like, man, that's stupid. You need to revamp that. That's not a really intelligent way of doing. Who's doing that? He comes up with these plans and tells them, and they agree with him. There is no critical analysis of decision making that's happening at the administrative level that is concerning Mickey Loomis. He occupies 2 positions. He's too old to have both those jobs. The general manager position should be a younger person. But he doesn't want to give up the camera time because nobody's going to talk to a VP when they can talk to the general manager. So it's a position that gets a lot of camera time, and he enjoys that. He likes being up there. Plus, he's his own boss. Dennis Lauscher does not do anything to check him. He defers to him, and so does Gail. So and then he says, I might retire in 10 years. That will make you put him in his 70s. And then none of them say anything about it. They don't check him for saying the elitist stuff, telling people they're not qualified. Nobody in the entire NFL that's an executive is telling people that's writing articles and asking questions about the failures of the team or with the, this, that, and the third. Yeah, well, they're unqualified to talk about me. I wouldn't ask them for advice anyway. What? Dude, are you 6 years old? What is this? Are you in kindergarten right now, Mickey? Hey, Mickey. Hey, Mickey. Are you in kindergarten right now coloring? That's what that sounds like to me. But yeah, to me, it's a possibility, fam. But with Mickey Loomis running it, man, anything is up for grabs, man. It just a change needs to happen, fam, is what I'm saying. It's time. The Saints really need to reformat, reorganize how the administrators are at the top of the team. It's old, antiquated, and it needs to be changed. Mickey Loomis has too much say in the decisions with the Saints. He don't need to be both jobs. If you want the general manager job, then give it to another person for the VP. But he should not be allowed to keep both positions because all of the intelligence is running through him, and you can see he's unbalanced. He's unbalanced. You see how he looked in the press conference, this unqualified elitist junk where you ain't nothing but an employee working for a billionaire. They might like you a lot, but you're still an employee. How dare you tell people they're not qualified? Man, get your ass out of here. Tramal says DA can't lose to Baby Bryce. You never know with some of these games. It could be a trap game. I said that about the Carolina game, overlooking Dallas. Dallas is in week 2 at Dallas. We don't like Dallas. It's a big rivalry there. Could the Saints be caught up in a situation where they're overlooking Carolina in week 1, looking to Dallas? It happens. We have to watch out for that. Jack says Allen needs to learn how to speak confidently. Yeah, chopping wood. He said that. That's his verb. I'm not putting anything in their mouth that they hadn't said. It's just really weird to hear, though. Byron Saints have a fast start upcoming season out the gate, but one game at a time. DA is gonna. He said had he had pressure on him. Yes, indeed. Reginald says whole season riding on Clint and offense to start off fast. It is. Their jobs is riding on that. No doubt about it. And they knew this walking in the door. Brother St. John says Dan Campbell would have been nice. Yeah, I know, bro. Yeah. Look what he's did with Detroit. Took Detroit. They were a laughing stock for many years. Dan Campbell went up there and gave them responsibility, gave them respectability, turned Detroit into a contender. And these people talking about Super Bowl. Detroit. What reality are we in? But that's Detroit. Detroit's been a dumpster fire of a football team for many years. Not anymore. A lot of former Saint personnel up there turning the team around. We had those guys here. We had Dan Campbell here. We had Glenn here. We had those guys here. A lot of the players that's showing up out there, they were Saints guys. Alex Anzalone, who led the team in tackles last year. Remember, Anzalone couldn't keep him healthy. Started tiptoeing through the tulips. Got rid of him. He was one of their best players last year. So, I mean, yes, Detroit is no longer a laughingstock. Unfortunately, we have become that. Ava says, I can't see Kubiak being the next head coach because if the Saints miss the playoffs again, it will be because the offense did not perform well. Defense hasn't been the problem. Well, I mean, and you're right, Ava, in some aspect. In many aspects, you're right. But there have been games where, I can see why the defense failed because the offense failed. like the Green Bay game when the Saints were up. The offense it was 1 quarter of football left. The Saints, all they had to do was run the clock out. They couldn't even do that. And then the cold-blooded part about it is the defense couldn't even stop them from doing what they're doing. The defense let them win the game too. The offense couldn't run out the clock, put the defense out there, and the defense let Green Bay win that game. But it becomes like it's a demoralization process because you can see it. It happened in Green Bay. It happened in the Minnesota Vikings game. It happened with Atlanta. It happened with Houston, where the Saints will be in the game up to the point, and then you keep seeing these repetitive garbage offensive series where the Saints getting 1 and done, 3 and done and punt, 3 and done and punt, 5 plays and punt, 6 plays and punt, 7, 8 plays and a field goal, then a touchdown, and then it resets itself, and then it takes the Saints another 3 to 4 drives before they get another field goal or a touchdown. They'll score a touchdown almost like it was by accident, and then it'll be 2 or 3 more series before that. That's how it was. There was no consistency to it whatsoever. It really was. It was pretty bad. I can see how a defense would be demoralized by that because they would be going out there playing more reps than they should be playing, trying to do such and such. But the bottom fell out in that Green Bay game. It was just 1 quarter. All we had to do was just hold that 1 quarter, and both offense couldn't keep the clock turning. Defense couldn't stop them. So, yeah, but for overall, the defense has been a lot more consistent, and that's really not saying much when you're talking about the Saints, you know what I mean? Jack says, watch Detroit Inside the Den. That's Ed, coach, and GM working with some excitement and football intelligence, unlike our sorry group. Like I said, hopefully these words make it to Gail Benson, make it to Dennis Lauscher to change it up. There's the reason why you are losing, because the model you have is outdated and antiquated. So is the general manager you got too. He's outdated and antiquated too. He's the oldest GM in the game, and he doesn't have any intentions of stepping down. He said that last year. Well, I might go for another 10 years. And then they don't say anything. That's the problem when you have people, the 2 top people in the organization don't know nothing about the sports that they are supposed to be over with, but they know how to cash the money from it. It's crazy, man. It's an interesting phenomenon we have here. Militu's, the Saints camp is full of Raiders. Man, it's going to change the colors to black and gold. Hype Pam said, man, keep getting the red zone and not scoring. Yeah, the defense suffers from that. Like they suffer from that. That's a demoralization process happening because defense is playing more reps than it's supposed to. So the key to it at all is it goes back to the Saints running the football. Running the football keeps the defense happy. Our defense, not the opposing team's defense, because it allows the clock to turn. We gain possession and control over the clock, which means the longer we keep their defense out there, the more worn down their defense becomes, which makes it easy for the Saints offense to score on them. And while that's happening, our defense is getting rest and getting ready to come out here and get at their offense. So when you control the clock, that does so many positive things. And that's what the Saints want to work on. They want to control the clock, where it also, controlling the clock, you control the game. The game is ran by the clock. If you control the clock, it doesn't matter where you play. To be honest with you, it really doesn't. If you're a professional, you are more interested in controlling the clock. If you control the clock, you control the field, whether it's home or away. You have control of it. Controlling of the clock means that you can wear their defenses down. Controlling the clock means that you affect their play calling. You affect their play calling because you're removing time from their side of things, which forces them to restrict their playbook, which is to take plays out and put other plays. It puts a bind. It puts a grind on them. You see what I'm saying? It's so important about controlling that clock. It really is. So if the Saints can run the ball, and that's what they're gearing up to, then you're going to see a lot of great things happen for the Saints offense. If that's what it's about. It is as simple as learning to getting back to running the game, running the ball. Running the ball means everything. You can work the play action off of it. And we know they can run the play action. So it's as simple as getting back to running the ball. That's what it is. We have to run the ball and run it consistently. That's the simple part about it. It's right there. Have to run the ball. Bottom line. All right. So anyway, fam, with that being said, man, listen, man, I just wanted to, I know I'm a little early in today's show for you guys, man, but listen, I'm chilling. I just wanted to chill with you guys and holler at y'all and kind of, pop up and kind of go over the latest stuff that happened during camp today, man. And it's pretty cool, man. So like one of the biggest sticking points today is that Marshawn Lattimore did leave practice with a hip flexor, according to what they're saying, that it's not serious. It's not serious. Okay. That's what they're saying. So we hopefully that remains the same, so, and also Jake Hayner had made the comment about him having a rare form of skin cancer that's not life threatening. So prayers go up to him as well. And plus we heard from Dennis Allen. We heard from several other Saints. The only person we didn't hear from was Peyton Turner. They cut it off before that. So it is what it is. All right. Yeah. All right, Jackson. I want to see Shaheed in the Debo role and Hill in the use check role. Yeah, indeed. And shout out to Brother Hendricks at the Saints News Network. Kyle T. Mosley, big ups to you. They were saying it's not a fad, that they're actually playing Taysom Hill at fullback. It's official. They're playing him at the fullback position. So Taysom Hill is your new Kyle Juszczyk. So that was the question, like, who's going to play Kyle Juszczyk? It's Taysom Hill. And Taysom Hill, in my opinion, can be a better Kyle Juszczyk than Kyle Juszczyk. I'm telling you, because he's a beast. That's going to be, that within itself is a whole nother thing. To have Elvin and Taysom out there on the field at the same time with Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed running around there. How you going to stop all that, man? And then who's going to be the A.T. Perry? Maybe he steps up. How are you going to stop all that? How are you going to stop that? And the Saints are time is motioning everywhere. The defenses don't know. And that's the whole nother thing too, with the double motions and all this kind of stuff with the defense tipping its hat. The Saints could be able to really do some confusion to the opposing defenses. A lot of the team, notice the 49ers confuse a lot of people, man. They really do. So if the Saints can do 70 to 80% of what they were doing last year, we should see some improvement. But besides all that fancy stuff, it all belongs to just running the ball. So that's really interesting within itself to have Elvin Kamara and Taysom Hill on the field at the same time. Insofar as fullback, running back, it's just, that's amazing to me, because both of those guys are game breakers. And you put both of them on the field with Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and probably A.T. Perry or Cedric Wilson Jr., whoever the third guy is, Jawan Johnson or Dallin Hawker. That Saints they have all. Come on, you just have to run the ball, man. This is going to be. I can't wait to see it, man. This is going to be awesome, man. All right. So anyway, with that being said, and like I said, I'm on record for always saying I think the Saints will have success this year because they talking right. The big problem was, and I said it was attention to detail and accountability. They didn't have it. That's why the team was fracturing and breaking apart. Dennis Allen, he must have heard these shows because I was yelling it the whole damn season last year. Man, this is not an accountable team. This is some BS. And they finally got it. And now we're going to see some football. So we'll see. All right. So anyway, I'm up out of here, man. Listen, I appreciate you guys. If y'all enjoyed the show, please feel free to hit the like button. Feel free to hit the subscribe button as well. Check out the whothatdaily.com link in the description section also for merch and all that kind of stuff, and support the stream. Our link tree is attached to the comment. I think it's in the description section below. I think they put it in there. But listen, man, I appreciate y'all so kindly, man. I'm going to pop up here tomorrow. I want to see y'all put the notification bells on there. I might pop up here tomorrow, depending on if they got something popping and snapping. I don't remember what's happening tomorrow. I'm going to have to look at my schedule. But I'm going to holler at y'all on the flip one. Much love. Who that to you?
Like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. Thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that at. Where we do that at. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that at. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the